Hi Crunchers! I'm your DJ Jihi and this is Culture Crunch. What is this in Korean? How should I text my boss back? These days, whenever I have a question, there's one friend that I turn to first. AI. The moment I ask something, it gives me an answer in seconds. It writes for me, creates images for me. It's like having my own super smart personal assistant. But the smarter this lovely AI gets, is it just me or am I getting dumber? Well, today we're going to find out if that's just a feeling or actually true. Curious? Stay tuned. Here's our first song, Good Morning Sunshine by The Poles. this week, our master is Professor Inah Lee from the Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences at Seoul National University. He'll be helping us understand how we should use our brains in the age of AI. Professor, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. My name is Inah Lee. I'm a professor and neuroscientist in the Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences at Seoul National University. I usually study memory, how memory is formed and retrieved in the brain, especially a brain region called the hippocampus. Nice to be here.
That was a perfect intro. Thank you so much, Professor. And thank you for coming in, despite the fact that it is actually a national holiday today.
Thank you for having me.
In Korea. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah.
And we have our crunchers tuning in live as well. Benny saying, good morning, Chihi, and happy Monday, all. Thank you for the live show on a day off. Yeah, 어서 오세요, 이나 교수님.
Thank you.
Welcome. And Nayan Suki is saying, good morning, Chihi and Culture Crunch. Have a lovely start of the week. Thank you so much. All right. Happy Monday, everyone. Let's dive right in then. Professor, I mentioned that you're from the Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences, but what exactly is this field?
Brain and cognitive sciences ask a simple question of how a physical organ like our brain actually creates our mind. So researchers in the brain and cognitive science field connect what happens inside the brain at the level of neurons, like cells, and neural circuits with things we experience every day, like such as memory, attention, and learning and decision making, etc. So it requires kind of, putting the efforts of many different disciplines or fields, like physiology, biology, psychology, actually all the departments of the university.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And like yourself, I did mention this before our show started, but I did major in psychology in university as well.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we have something in common. And so I'm really excited to know more about your field of study today.
Yeah.
But what kinds of research in particular have you focused on over the years?
My own research focuses on contextual memory, so-called, and how it's formed in the hippocampus in the brain. The hippocampus is a brain structure deep inside the brain, and it plays a major role in both remembering our experiences and imagining our future. So my lab studies how the brain combines different pieces of information, such as where something happened and when it happened, and what happened, and how we felt into a meaningful memory. That's called episodic memory, and hippocampus is very important for that. I study the neural mechanisms of that.
Okay. Wow. So that is like the whole context of a memory, I guess, like when, where, what it
That's
felt
exactly
like.
the definition of context. Actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And for some of our listeners who may not be familiar with hippocampus, is there an easier way of putting, like, how does it look like?
Hippocampus basically is a Greek term, and it means hippo means horse, and campus means monster. So original meaning is sea monster, but when they originally discovered, Italian anatomist discovered the hippocampus during, post-mortem kind of a sectioning of the human brain. They find the hippocampus, and it looks like a tail of a seahorse. So he just called it seahorse. And so that's how it becomes hippocampus.
It's pretty interesting how people just name things like that. Nice and simple. All right. Well, I mentioned AI earlier. So what will you be talking to us about today in relation to AI then?
Today, I want to talk about a question that is becoming increasingly important these days. As AI becomes smarter, what happens to our own brains? So AI can remember information for us, search for us, and write for us, and even think through problems for us. And that is extremely useful, but if we constantly outsource these mental processes, we may gradually stop exercising some of our own cognitive abilities. So the real question is not simply, is AI good or bad? It is, how can we use AI while still keeping our own brain active, contextual, and independent. And we're going to talk about that today.
Okay, so using the AI to not make ourselves dumber, but basically to keep our brains healthy.
Healthier and smarter. Actually.
Smarter too. Okay. So today in our talk one, we're going to talk about the brain that loses context, the brain that holds on to it, and what it means to be human in the age of AI. All right. Well, the word that stands out most is context, and you said you do research in that context memory, right? So what exactly do you mean by context? Can you explain?
It depends on who you talk to, but there are many different ways to define context. But I would say context is the background that helps interpreting the information at hand. For example, imagine someone says, "That was great."
Yeah.
And those three words alone, don't tell you very much.
Yeah.
Who said it? Where were you? And what happened before that? Was that person being sincere or sarcastic?
Yeah.
All of that surrounding information is context, basically. And our brain constantly combines information about place, time, people, objects, and emotions, and previous experiences to understand what is happening now. What does that mean? That was great. So that interpretation relies on that kind of contextual memory and contextual information.
Okay.
So context is what turns isolated pieces of information into meaning or significance, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like creating a map out of dots of information.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, then is there a specific mechanism in the brain that helps us remember things through context?
Oh, yeah. One of the most important brain areas is the hippocampus. The hippocampus doesn't simply store facts like files on a computer. It connects different elements of experience together. For example, where was I? Who was there? What happened there? How did I feel? By connecting these elements, the hippocampus helps us create what we call episodic memories. It's called in Korean 일화기억. Memories of events, basically, that happened to us.
Okay.
And that's why researchers think of the hippocampus as kind of a context building system in the brain.
Ah, okay. Context building system.
Yeah.
Okay, so we do have a specific mechanism. I mean, we're going to get into this deeper, but I do feel like sometimes, because of the context, we could create like false memories in our brains as
Exactly.
well too.
Yeah.
But we'll go deeper into that later on. But what does it mean for the brain to lose context then?
That basically happens in Alzheimer's disease
okay.
because it hits the hippocampus, it damages the hippocampus. And a brain that loses context may still have a lot of information coming in, but it has difficulty in connecting that information into meaningful relationships.
Okay.
So you may know many facts like AI, but not understand why they matter and when they apply or how they relate to your own experience. So, and this distinction is becoming very important in the age of AI because AI can provide us with enormous amounts of information, but information itself is not the same thing as understanding. So for
Exactly.
understanding and, relating to yourself, you really need a, contextual information processing part of the brain.
Ah, I
Yeah.
see. Okay. Well, then, could frequent use of AI these days actually make this loss of context worse?
It could, yeah.
okay.
Depending on how we use it.
Ah.
So AI is not the problem sometimes. If AI gives me an answer and I simply accept it, copy it, and move on, then very little cognitive work is actually happening in my own brain.
Right.
So, but if I ask AI questions
Uh-huh.
or compare its answers with what I already know, challenge it, or connect the information to my own experience, the situation is completely different. So I wouldn't say that AI itself kind of damages context. The important factor is whether we remain cognitively active
Yep.
or become, the opposite is passive consumer of AI-generated answers. So
Okay.
it's a human factor.
Okay.
Yeah.
So AI is not the problem. How we use it
Yeah.
and whether we're passive or active.
Yeah.
I guess that's what's important. But Professor, so does that mean you do use AI yourself, or do you not use it?
I use it a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, I use it a lot, but the point is not to avoid AI, basically. That would be unrealistic, and I'm not sure it's desirable these days.
Right.
So I try to use AI as a thinking partner rather than as a replacement for thinking.
Okay.
And I want AI to expand my thinking and not do all of thinking for me.
Yeah.
And that's the distinction I think we should make.
Okay. Thinking partner. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
A partner.
Sometimes a sparring partner.
Oh, yeah.
Challenge you.
Oh,
and then
I like
just
it.
Criticize you.
Yeah, you grow with it.
Yeah, you hate it and
You hate it.
turn it off.
I like that. But you know what? Like listening to you, I'm starting to wonder whether brains and our thoughts patterns, like thought patterns of today's AI digital natives,
Oh,
we
yeah.
say, right? The younger generation, could they be very different from those of older generations? What do you think?
It's possible, but I'll be a little bit cautious about saying their brain structures, could be completely different.
Okay.
We don't have enough scientific evidence so far to make that claim, but their cognitive habits could certainly become different
Okay.
from the older generation. The brain is plastic. It's called the neuroplasticity. It changes depending on what we repeatedly do, and that's habit.
Right.
And if you repeatedly navigate, remember, calculate, or solve problems yourself, those processes are exercised, so it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
But if you repeatedly outsource them to technology, you may become less practiced at doing them yourself. So rather than saying AI will create a completely new human brain, I would say it may create different patterns of cognitive training, depending on which abilities we continue to practice ourselves and which ones we outsource to technology. So it's it's a human choice.
Yeah.
But I have to admit that the environment, this massive screen related environment make it much harder these days to actually just stay independent.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of like these differences in generations, it reminded me of how, PC games, like computer games, they used to be different from the past and nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
And they say nowadays, the younger generation, they're more used to receiving quick rewards.
Exactly.
But in the past, like you only have 3 chances to pass a game. So they tend to have like the 90s kids, they tend to have more perseverance. They fight through games longer. I don't know. Yeah, so that reminded me of like the brain habits, thinking habits.
I'm not even that, age. When I was young, I have to use coins to play games.
Right.
And then if you run out of the coin, you're done. So, it's changing. The environment is changing.
Like technology changing how we think, our habits, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have another question though. Once we learn how to like ride a bike or swim, all these action-related, I guess, learning, learning memory. Once we learn it, we tend to remember it for life.
Right.
All we need is like practice to get it, make it better. But when it comes to studying like a new word or a term, whatnot, we tend to forget it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So what different memory system does our brain have to create this difference?
That's because the brain does not have just one memory system. For example, remembering how to ride a bicycle or swim is called a procedural memory or procedural learning. It involves brain systems like a striatum that learns skills and habits through repeated practice. The emphasis on repetition. Endless repetition makes it perfect. And then once it's, learned, you never forget throughout life. So, but on the other hand, remembering, for example, what happened yesterday, during lunch, that is episodic memory and belongs to so-called declarative memory system. Declarative means you can declare it with words. So if you can describe your memory with words, that means it depends on the hippocampus, not procedural memory system. So, and the hippocampus plays a very important role in that kind of memory. So when we say memory, we're actually talking about several different types of memory and several different brain areas dealing with it. So episodic memory, not to forget, you have to really, retrieve it very often. If you don't do that, it's gonna be gone.
Okay.
So that's the difference from the difference between procedural memory system and episodic memory system. Yeah.
Okay. So with episodic declarative memory, you have to like use words and you have to repeat it in order to not forget it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have to, if you chat about your lunchtime yesterday with friends, you're gonna remember it for a long time.
Yeah.
But if you don't do that, it's gonna be just evaporate.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That is true, right.
Yeah.
Well, listening to this, then I immediately thought also about how we use navigation apps often these days, right?
Yeah.
So instead of memorizing like the best route or the route to get to your work or home, you just rely on GPS, right?
Yeah.
If we keep relying on external tools like these, though, could that affect the relationship between those two memories, like the procedural memory and the declarative memory?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there's a scientific evidence for that too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And when you navigate by yourself, you have to pay attention to landmarks, directions, distances, and the relationships between different places and so on. And the hippocampus is heavily involved in this kind of spatial processing. And actually in 2014, a researcher named John O'Keefe actually received the Nobel Prize for discovering a cell named place cell in the hippocampus that does this navigation for mammals. So, but when a navigation system simply tells you, like in a GPS navigation system, turn left here, turn right there, much of that, heavy cognitive load, work has already been done for you. So again, using navigation technology is not inherently bad, but the issue is that when technology repeatedly performs a cognitive operation for us, our brain gets less and less practice performing that, and then it actually becomes weaker.
Your memory becomes weaker. Your ability to retrieve, I guess, becomes weaker as well.
And there's a scientific evidence that your hippocampus, hippocampal volume actually decreases as you,
Oh my
stop using it.
goodness.
So,
Gets smaller.
And it increases, like London taxi driver study, their hippocampus is bigger than normal people. So stop using GPS if you don't have to.
Oh yeah, don't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad I know how to get to, this ARIRANG station at least.
Yeah.
without
Still, some
looking at a
people
GPS.
just turn it on,
Yeah.
like habitually.
They just rely heavily on it, right? Okay. I will not do that. I'll try not to.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess so in exchange for convenience, there may also be certain abilities our brains simply stop using though, right?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The brain is very efficient. And if a task is consistently handled by an external tool like AI, the brain has less reason to devote effort or energy because our brain is very careful not to waste energy. However, that doesn't necessarily mean the ability disappears. It's there actually, but it may become less practiced. So there's a simple principle here. Because of neuroplasticity, the brain tends to become better at what we repeatedly ask it to do.
Okay.
So, and the opposite is also true. So you have to, your own decision maker for that. Yeah.
So I guess the brain is sort of like muscle to our other
exactly
body parts.
the same.
Like you have to work on it to keep it that volume or make it bigger.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But at the same time, I sometimes think if AI can look everything up for us anyway, it's so easy to just reach it.
Yeah.
Do we really need to memorize and store all that knowledge?
Well, I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
But I think this is actually one of the biggest misunderstanding about AI. People sometimes say, why memorize anything? AI can look it up for you. But you need knowledge inside your brain in order to think. Imagine trying to have a conversation with every single word has to be looked up first.
Yeah.
And thinking words, actually, thinking works in a similar way.
Yeah.
So your existing knowledge allows you to recognize patterns, ask good questions, detect mistakes, or connect new information with previous experience. So paradoxically, the more powerful AI becomes, the more important our own internal knowledge may become to interpret that information and to use it in my own way. So without knowledge, you may have access to information. AI can provide you a lot of information,
Yes.
but you have very little basis for judging and using it. So that's the dilemma, actually.
That is.
yeah.
Okay. You shouldn't be relying on AI for all your knowledge. It's not like a knowledge storing
Yeah.
technology.
Yeah.
You have to have your own knowledge. And listening to you, I'm starting to feel that no matter how intelligent, I guess, AI becomes, interpreting what this experience means.
To me.
To me
Yeah.
is what's important.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us human.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's take a short music break here and continue our conversation with Professor Inah. Here is 나의 뇌구조, Inner Space by 박지윤. Stay tuned.
난 외로워서 만난 그들에게 전말
back after listening to the song titled 나의 뇌구조, Inner Space by Park Ji-yoon. And we have news for K-culture fans around the world. Talk Korea 2026, the global content contest, is now open. Share your My First K-culture moment through video, photo book, drawing, and illustration, or even writing. With a total prize of $26,400, the best entry across all 4 categories will receive the Minister of Culture, Sports, and Tourism Award. Join Talk Korea 2026 right now. And with that, we're back to All About. And today we're joined by Professor Lee Inah from Seoul National University's Department of Brain and Cognitive Sciences. Now we're talking about how AI is changing our brains. And I think this is a good moment to really think about the reality that we're living in. So Professor, right now, we mostly delegate simple tasks to AI.
Yeah.
You know, we even download it in our phones. We turn to it all the time. But if we eventually start to outsource our thinking, reasoning, and learning as well, how might our brains, I guess, change in the long term?
People describe this as cognitive outsourcing, and humans have always actually outsourced some of their cognitive functions. Writing allowed us to store memory outside the brain, and calculators allowed us to outsource calculation. And navigation systems we talked about outsource part of our spatial navigation capabilities.
Right.
The problem is that AI takes this much further because now we can outsource not only memory calculation or those things, but also writing, reasoning, and summarizing, or even thinking through difficult problems, even generating ideas. That is a major change.
Yeah.
So the danger is not that AI suddenly makes our brain weaker. The danger is that little by little, unknowingly, we may stop noticing how much thinking we're no longer doing ourselves. And that's really a problem these days. Yeah.
That is scary. We're
Yeah.
becoming dumber without even realizing it,
Actually,
basically.
yeah.
We could be.
I wouldn't say dumber, but
Okay.
yeah, getting dumb.
Getting dumb. Okay.
Because that means you were dumb.
Yeah, you are dumb, right? Okay,
Yeah.
dumb.
Yeah.
That is sad. But
Yeah.
before we dive deeper into this cognitive outsourcing you mentioned, we have Neon asking, I'm curious, does Professor have a favorite AI tool?
Oh.
I work in a university, so this has been a very interesting development.
Oh yeah, I actually use several AI agents. Perplexity, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini,
Yeah.
GenSpark. I use all those.
All of them.
Yeah, they have different characteristics actually. So for example, for academic questions and very esoteric issues in academia, I think Perplexity is pretty good.
Oh, okay.
But for everyday mundane matter, ChatGPT is pretty good in generating images. So I don't kind of treat them as the identical AI agents. They have different personalities. I think that comes from their different data sets they learned. So yeah, I use them a lot.
You heard that,
I have to
Neon.
confess.
He uses basically all of them,
Yeah.
but depending on what he's trying to
Yeah.
get from them. So you have like multiple thinking
Yeah.
partners.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
different-
If I need someone or some agent that challenges me a lot, I use usually Perplexity or Claude.
Okay.
They're pretty picky.
Yeah?
So yeah, but if I kind of need a generous agent, ChatGPT is pretty good in kind of doing flattering, saying
Right.
flattering things for you. Yeah. So
I would agree with that.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, we were talking about how if we outsource all our thinking, reasoning, learning, in the long term, we won't even realize how incapable we are of thinking deeply, right? That cognitive outsourcing, it really hits hard, but AI can also hallucinate.
Yeah.
It can sound convincing while being wrong, and it can also give us false information too, right?
Yeah.
So if we outsource too much of our thinking, then could our brains become more vulnerable to
yeah.
these kinds of errors?
That's the danger. This is where having your own thoughts or mind if you will, becomes extremely important these days. AI can produce an answer
Yep.
that sounds very confident and very convincing, even when it is wrong. If you have enough background knowledge, something may immediately feel wrong
Yeah.
or strange. That is, if you know the context, you can guess these things pretty accurately. In my book, I call this a perfect guess of our brain. And then you ask another question to check that, and you check the source. You can start that process, challenge the answer. But if you know almost nothing about that subject,
Yeah.
it becomes much harder to distinguish a good answer from bad one. So in the age of AI, critical thinking requires your own contextual knowledge or model. They call it cognitive model. Through which you can guess various things by yourself. So you cannot critically evaluate something from a completely empty mind.
Right.
So it is, ironically, it's becoming an age of context-dependent decision-making or knowledge.
Yeah.
So,
Right. I guess you really do have to have your own standards to do that critical thinking.
exactly.
Right? And
Yeah.
that comes from having your own knowledge as well.
Yeah, not to become a puppet of AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's a strong word, but
That
yeah.
is a strong word, puppet of AI. Oh, let us not become that,
Yeah.
please. Well, talking about AI also makes me think of short form content
Oh, yeah.
too,
Yeah.
We're so used to it. And I've heard that constantly exposing ourselves to short, intense bursts
Yeah.
of stimulation like this isn't great for the brain either. But what exactly is the problem here?
The main problem is not the short form content is short. The length is not that important. The problem is the pattern of attention it encourages in the
Okay.
brain. You receive a strong stimulus, a very short one, and then another one, actually even auto scroll, and very quick information hits your brain. And the brain doesn't have much time to reflect, connect ideas, or ask, what does this mean to me? But deeper thinking often requires the opposite, staying with an idea long enough to connect it with other memories or your own experiences. So if most of our information comes as disconnected fragments like short form contents, we may become very good at switching attention, but not necessarily at building deeper context of our own. And that,
okay.
if the brain repeatedly does that all the time, you may lose that ability of creating deeper context. Actually.
Okay, creating deeper context and paying attention to something for a longer
Long
time,
enough,
I guess,
yeah,
right?
yeah, especially for kids. It's very
okay.
serious these days, yeah.
Oh, okay. And come to think of it, like, how we say it's dopamine bursts?
Yeah.
We're always
Yeah.
constantly looking for
Yeah.
new dopamines,
Yeah.
stimulation. But I think feeling is also very much related to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, like if we don't get quick stimulus, quick bursts of stimulus, we become frustrated and emotions,
Yeah.
negative emotions
Yeah.
get involved.
Yeah.
That's also a negative thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah, your emotional system or rewarding system actually is trained to respond to that kind of short period of time. That kind of stimulus. So again, brain is plastic.
Yeah.
And if you keep training your reward system or emotional system according to that industrial plan of short form content related burst,
Yeah.
then your brain becomes like that. So again, the environment is so you're overwhelmingly kind of surrounded by that. So it's really difficult to resist that, but we have to.
True.
We need a system for that, actually.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so hard to do that, control ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess self-discipline is
Yeah.
more important than ever
Yeah.
these days.
And plus a system or environment
System, right.
that like Canada or Australia, they kind of ban nowadays in school, connecting to those AIs or short forms,
Right.
SNS content. So I think that's the right way to go, actually. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Systematic effort and
Yeah.
individual effort as well.
Yeah.
Okay. But what I'm really worried about, though, is if this continues, like that intense burst of stimulation, if our brain becomes used to that, could that also affect our sense of identity, like who I am?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Potentially, yes. If you really, go into that category, you just keep using it all the time. Our sense of self basically is not created from one isolated moment. It is constructed from the story connecting our experiences over time, long period of time. So, I mean, those questions like, what happened to me? Why was it important? How did it change me? The answers to these questions from stories of my life, which in turn defines who I am.
Yeah.
And my identity. So memory actually gives continuity to our identity in that sense. So if our attention is constantly pulled toward external stimuli, we may spend less time integrating our own experiences into a coherent personal narrative, and then you kind of lose your identity.
Yeah.
So, and short form contents and interactions with AI all kind of encourages losing it actually.
Oh my goodness. So you become nobodies.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
to be extreme, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that, I guess, brings us to another big topic these days, and that is metacognition. We talk about it a lot. If we don't want to lose the context behind our own thoughts, it seems important to be able to step back and observe our own brain and even ourselves objectively,
Yeah.
How can we actually activate or strengthen that ability?
Yeah, metacognition simply means thinking about your own thinking. So a useful habit to develop that is to occasionally stop and ask, why do I think like this? Or where did this information come from? Or do I actually understand this? Or does it just sound convincing? And perhaps the most important question in the age of AI is that, is this my thought, or did I simply accept someone else's or AI's?
Interesting.
The small pause, that kind of small pause to think those things is a very powerful form of metacognition. So just stop
Okay.
or pause a little bit.
Stop and pause.
Yeah, don't just react immediately.
okay.
That's the habit to develop in the age of AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not easy, but if you have that awareness and
Yeah.
stop yourself, I guess
Yeah.
you could prevent yourself
Yeah.
from making cognitive errors like overgeneralization, whatnot,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Just get into the habit of turning your, face away from the screen for like 5 seconds
Oh, okay.
to think about what just, this AI gives you.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a way to protect yourself and your brain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, there seem to be so many potential problems here, after all this conversation. But perhaps the biggest one is that ordinary users like me often don't even realize something is going wrong in daily life, especially as we get older. Are there warning signs or ways to notice that our brain habits are, I guess, becoming unhealthy?
I think one warning signal is when you begin to feel uncomfortable
Okay.
doing something without that tool, without AI. Actually, that's happening in younger generation these days. For example, you immediately open an AI chatbot before trying to solve a problem yourself, before even thinking about it. Or you use navigation even for places you have visited many times, like your home. Or you ask AI to summarize something before you have even tried to read it. And that doesn't mean you should stop using those tools, but it is worth asking, am I using this tool because it helps me, or because I no longer want to make the cognitive effort myself?
Exactly.
So that distinction is very important, and
Yeah.
I really sincerely hope that you choose the latter, actually.
Oh, you should, definitely.
Yeah.
You know what? This sort of reminds me of this, I guess, comparison. It's sort of like your school is just 5 minutes walk
Oh,
from
yeah,
your home,
yeah.
but you take your car,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Even when they walk,
Yeah.
they just turn on
Oh,
this
okay.
GPS and then just do this.
Yeah, oh my gosh, even when they walk.
Yeah.
Relying heavily on
Yeah,
technology like
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay, well, becoming uncomfortable when not using these technologies, that's a warning sign that we must notice.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's unrealistic to create a life where we never use AI, right? I mean, you said it's not about avoiding it. It's about how well we use it, you know? So from a neuroscience perspective, what is the key difference between using AI in a way that weakens the brain and using it in a way that actually makes the brain smarter?
Well, to simply put, passive use of AI replaces thinking, and active use of AI stimulates thinking. So if you say, give me the answer to the AI and stop there, AI is replacing actually part of your cognitive processes. But if you say, here's what I think, challenge my idea, show me what I may have missed, or those critical questions, AI becomes a cognitive partner. So best of use of AI doesn't necessarily reduce mental effort. But I think in a way, there should be an education or kind of practice to teach people how to use AI in a way not to hurt brain's capability of thinking by itself.
Okay.
So sometimes it should actually make you think better in educational settings if you properly use it. Yeah.
Using it properly. And I also think you have to put in effort to really phrase your prompts properly too. That's part of thinking too. Like what you actually want to get from AI and phrasing it first could also
people
be,
emphasize that a lot, but I would say that's important, but I would say before that there should be your thoughts first. What to prompt it, and people just usually don't even have that initial thought or idea and just outsource it. And then that's the problem.
So have your thought first.
Even for vague problems, even you have to have some kind of image, what I want. And then you can, compare that with AI. If you have nothing, then you just accept AI.
Passively.
Passively.
All right. Well, then, is there any task where you would strongly say, Professor, do not outsource this to AI or your smartphone, and make sure you do this with your own brain?
I would keep at least three things. First, try to remember things and events that happens in your everyday life by yourself. Try to remember it. That requires conversation with other people or taking journals or journal notes and so on. And second, navigate your surrounding yourself from time to time, not completely depend on GPS. And third, probably the most important, is make important judgment yourself. So don't let AI. It actually suggests those judgment and decision making, and then it gives you even options like ABC. And don't let it. And I usually just say, it's not your problem, business. Just. Do something what I just asked. Don't try to
make decisions
overstep.
for me.
AI can give you information and alternatives. I can do that, but when something concerns your value, your relationships, or the direction of your life, don't immediately ask AI to decide what you should do. Those decisions should be ultimately made by yourself, because that process of decision making, it can lead to something kind of not very ideal, but that process of trying to make a good decision builds your own identity. So that's your self-growing.
Self-growing. Keep thinking. In those three ways. Okay, all right. Well, today's lecture theme was what it means to be human in the age of AI. In your view, what is the most important quality of the human brain that AI can, I guess, never fully replace?
That's a good question.
In simple terms,
For me, it is our ability to give personal meaning to what we experience. AI can process enormous amounts of information. It can recognize patterns much faster than we can. But each of us lives in a particular body, in a particular place, with a particular history. We remember what happened to us and connected with previous experiences. imagine the future of my own and others and decide what matters to us. So the ability to integrate memory, context, emotion, and personal values is at the heart of being human. So in the AI era, I don't think our goal should be to compete with AI at being an information processing machine. We should become better at being human.
Okay.
Yeah,
Be
so-
better at being human.
Yeah.
Personal meaning.
네.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, Professor, we're already nearing the end of the show
Oh,
today. That was such an insightful talk, but really quickly and really simply, I guess, in one word or 2 words, whatnot, can you give us a little preview of what we're going to talk about next week then?
Next time, I'd like to move from the problem, like we discussed today, to solution. What we should do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something that I was actually hoping to ask you.
Yeah.
All right. So we did look at how the brain is changing in the age of AI today. But next time, we're going to look into the solutions in which we can prevent the brain from changing in unwanted ways because we're using AI a lot these days. All right. So today we took a look at the first sort of a few things on the changes of the brain in the age of AI. But next time we'll go even deeper. So do look forward to our next week's All About as well. And thank you once again, Professor, for sharing such valuable insight with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming in. We'll have to say goodbye with our last song. It is Shining by Kim Han-gyum. Shall we say goodbye together?
All right.
All right. Keep crunching.
Crunching.
매일 밤 내가 꿈꿔왔던 이 순간 지나간 시간들은 다 모두 지워줘 여기 빛나는 이 무대 위에 우리 함께 있잖아 돌아보지 마 후회는 없을 거야 망설일 필요 없어 다시 오지 않을 기회일 테니까 한번 시작해보는 거야 더 눈부시게 빛나던 날과 가득했던 푸른 꿈 Shining 지금 이대로 멈추지 말고 right now 뒤돌아보지 말고 뛰어봐 다시 꿈꿀 수 있게 higher 더 높이 날아 오늘 이 순간이 영원하기를 두근거리고 있어 숨이 찰 만큼 긴 하루의 끝에서 기다려왔던 순간 Go 더 이상 고민 말고 저 멀리 반짝이는 우리의 꿈처럼 지치지 않는 이 노래 위에 모든 걸 다 맡겨봐 가보는 거야 후회하지 않아 걱정은